Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. Well, what's going on in the markets? They're still going to try to make a run at the 40,000. This is my take. I think they're going to try to push it up and get that 40,000 print on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, it's also my take that if we can get down below the 20-day on the S&P, that this market is going to come in. It's going to come down. Now, a lot of the billionaires have gotten out of the market. Warren Buffett sitting on $150 billion in cash. Why? Because he has this thing called the Buffett indicator. Now, the Buffett indicator is basically, it's just a percentage between what the GDP is and what the total U.S. stock market capitalization is. And right now it's about 200% of GDP. Now, normal is about 100%. So Warren thinks the market is 100% overvalued, meaning it's going to come down by 50%. And then it'll be normal. They'll probably overshoot. So a lot of people are looking for the Dow Jones to come down by about 75%. Now, I know the moon boys are going to tell you the market's going to go up, but I'm going to tell you there is risk in this market right now. For me personally, this is just what I'm doing. I'd much rather be in gold. You see, gold has outperformed the stock market since the year 2000, and it's kicking the stock market's ass again this year. Gold is outperforming the market, but nothing's really happened yet. Nothing bad has happened. People think the stock market is going up, but it's really just your purchasing power going down. That's why gold is continuing to outperform the stock market again. Now, I do believe that the Dow Jones Industrial Average will become 1-to-1 with gold. Gold being about 2,400 right now, the Dow being about 40,000, they're going to meet somewhere in the middle. That's just my take. You do you. You want to be in the stock market? Please be in it, absolutely. But my take is that gold will continue to outperform it because the stock's not really going up. Your purchasing power is going down. Just my take. All right, let's get over to the real estate end of things now. The real estate market, that's always fascinating. I listen to a lot of the other podcasts. Now, I was listening to one of them. It's called Real Estate Mindset. Many of you may know Travis. He's much more popular than me, but he's got the same view, kind of. He thinks the real estate market is going to come crashing down. Me and him think alike in that. And I like Travis, but it was funny. It's funny. And he was talking about new home sales, right? And he was shocked. He was shocked that the government went back and redid some charts, went back 2 whole years to redo them. Now, if you're a real estate broker, you follow these things. And me and Travis, we both know that the median price for new homes hit a record high back in October of 2022. Hit a record high, almost 500,000, just a touch under 500,000, right? And it's pulled back down to about 427 now, down about, let's call it, 14, 15%, the new home market. These are new homes, the construction, the brand new ones, down about 14 or 15%. But what the government did on the Fed's website is they went back and redid the data. They say we were never at 500. They say we've only reached 460,000 for the median, and that we're down, 427 now. And so we're only down about 5% on new homes, which is kind of funny. And Travis was shocked that the government would lie to him. Now look, liars are going to lie. That's what the government does. Their numbers aren't real. They make them up. They will code them over. They will go back and correct them to make their narrative look like what it wants to be, right? But anyways, they took the new home median sale price down from 500 down to 460,000, where we were up over 480,000 for 3 months at least in a row. And yet they now revise it down that we were never that high. We were only up at 460. Very fascinating. You see, they do that with a lot of numbers. Now, a lot of people think that the unemployment in the United States is running below, right, well, 3.9. 3.9%, that's what the government will tell you. But yet, people are not back to work yet. We have 5 million less people working now than we did before the pandemic. Where did these 5 million people go? Well, the government doesn't count them. You see, they're not looking for work. They're just unemployed. But they count only the people that are actively out there looking for work. So they're saying the unemployment is about 4.7 million people. But you tack on these other 5 million people that are still unemployed since before the pandemic, you got unemployment numbers running about 8% right now, about 8%. And 8% is a severe recession. We are in a severe recession already. We're heading to a Great Depression. You just give it a little time. It'll play out. They'll come back and revise the number and go, oh, yeah, I guess we were in a recession, because that's what the government does. They don't know we're in a recession. They can't say we're in a recession until well after the election, right? They got to get that election out there. So they're going to change their numbers after the election, go back and revise them and say we're in a recession now. But I can tell you we're in a recession now. We're running unemployment right now about 8% as best I can tell. Now, inflation the same way. They'll tell you that inflation dropped from 3.5 to 3.4 last month. I'll tell you, inflation, if they measure it back in the way of the 80s, we're still above 10%. And that's why inflation is going to take off from here, because they cannot raise rates high enough to fight inflation. So what do? They pull out the white flag, right? They wave that white flag and they pretend that they've conquered inflation. They haven't conquered anything yet. They've adjusted their numbers. They take food out of the equation, take gasoline out of the equation, just things that you need to buy in everyday life. They take those out of the equation and go, look, we don't have inflation anymore. We conquered it. And they're already talking about lowering rates. Very fascinating. But I was just shocked that Travis was surprised that the government's going to lie to us. Now, Travis, come on, I love you, buddy, but the liars are going to lie. Yes, they went back and they wiped out all the statistics for new home sales because it looked bad for them. New homes are plummeting. That's much worse than 14%. That's just what the nominal terms are, right? You throw in inflation terms to that, it's down about 20 or 30%, right? And you throw in the add-ons. You see, when they buy a new home, they'll give you the add-ons for free, right? They'll give you a new swimming pool in the backyard. They'll give you the free landscaping. They'll give you the marble countertops. They'll give you all the upgrades to whatever you want, because they're desperate. They have these homes to sell and they're desperate. I want to talk a little bit about their desperation. All right. Now, I give them credit for being smart. They got all these new homes being built, right? They have no way to get rid of them, right? So they got to do something. So what are they doing? They've gone back to the adjustable rate mortgages. They're the 3-year arms, right? Actually, there's what's called the 3-2-1. Okay, let me explain that. The 3-2-1 means for the first year, they're going to buy the interest rate down at 3%. So let's say we're up here at 7% for mortgage rates. They're going to buy the first year down here they're going to buy it down to 4%, right? It costs them money, costs them a lot of money. The second year, they're going to buy it down by 2 points. So it'll be 5%. If it stays at 7, they'll buy it down to 2. And the third year, they'll buy it down by 1. So that'll be 6%. And then the fourth year, you'll become 7%, or wherever the market is. I think by then it'll be well above 10%. But these people are going in and they're buying these new homes based on these adjustable rate loans. Sometimes it's only a 2-1 where they buy it down for just 2 years, 2% the first year and 1% the second year. And they've sold over 100,000 homes this way, right? Because they're very smart. Don't get me wrong. They're smart, but they're taking advantage of the general public, in my opinion. See, they ran out of qualified buyers, people that can come in and buy at the 7%, the 8% level. Those people are gone, right? So they got to get people that have, 600, 580 credit score. Come on in. We'll buy that rate down for you so we can get you in that loan, right? Well, these people, these tens of thousands of people that have bought these houses, they're starting to freak out a little bit, because what they told them was, don't worry, we're going to give you that 3-year arm, and by then interest rates will be back to 3%. You can refinance and you're going to get the house really cheap. cheap because when the rates come down, this house, it's going to be worth double what you paid for it. Well, here's the problem. They bought it back here. Let's say they bought it 2 years ago, right? Okay, they bought 2 years ago. And what's happened? Well, the price of the home's gone down. You see, never be the first one in the subdivision to buy, right? Because they got 500 other homes they have to find a bag holder for. They have to find someone to dump those five. Never be the first one to buy. You want to be the last one to buy if you're going to buy a new subdivision. So if there's 500 homes in the subdivision, wait for 499 of them to be sold before you are the last person to purchase. That way you don't have to worry that they're going to be dropping the price on you. Because what they're doing is they're really dropping these prices now, down about 14%. So let's say you bought in a subdivision and let's say you were the poor guy that was the first to buy in that subdivision 2 years ago. There's 500 homes. Well, they haven't sold the 500 homes yet. They're still for sale. But what's happened to your home? Price has gone down. Price has gone down about 14, 15% in nominal terms since the high where Billy Bob sold at. Now, Billy Bob got out up here October of 2022. Now, we're almost, 2 years out, right? We're coming around to October again, 2024, right? So 2 years ago is where the market peaked, right? Now that's new homes I'm talking about, and they've come down now, right? Down about 14, 15% off of those highs. So if you bought back then, you're already underwater. But it's worse than that. Here's why it's worse than that. What's happened to your adjustable rate mortgage? Well, it adjusts, right? The first year was 4%, and the second year adjusted 5%, and maybe you can handle that because that increased your payment about $800 a month. But now you're up to 6% because it's the second adjustment, and now your payment's gone up another $800, and you're going, wait a minute, my home has fallen in free fall, and yet my mortgage payment keeps going up year after year. And you know what else they tack on that? They tack on your insurance. Did insurance go up in the last year? Yes, in a lot of areas, insurance has doubled in the last year. Crazy, right? So you get this new bill from the bank, and you're looking at it, and you're just shaking your head. You're going, no, this can't be right. This can't be right. I can't afford this. They told me rates would be at 3% by now. They told me my home would be double what it is now. I got to sell my home. Oh, wait, I can't sell my home. Why can't I sell my home? Because it dropped 15% already, right? And guess who you're competing against? You're still competing against the builder who hasn't sold out the subdivision yet. So you're in a world of hurt right now. You have an adjustable rate that keeps adjusting year after year when they told you that they're going to price, that the Fed's going to cut rates back down to where your mortgage will be 3%. They told you that your home's going to go up in value because real estate always goes up in value, right? But right now you're in a very bad position. You have a home that's seriously underwater. You're on the hook for the mortgage, and you got to find a way to get out of it. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to have to give it back. Give it back to the bank. Then what's the bank going to do? They're going to dump it onto the market. Well, there's other homes in the subdivisions for sale up here. The bank's going to dump that one down here. It's going to bring all these subdivision homes down, right? So that's just a death cycle in the new home market. This is scary stuff. But if you were one of the bag holders that bought the home in the last 2 years, you bought a new construction home, you know what I'm talking about, especially if you got one of those adjustable rate mortgages, because they told you, don't worry, in 3 years it's going to be back to normal. You can refinance, and you're getting the house really cheap because houses are going to be so much more expensive than, it didn't work out that way. Now you're the bag holder, and what can you do? You can't sue them. You're the one that made the mistake, right? But they kind of took advantage of you. I agree with you. I don't think they should be pushing you into an adjustable rate mortgage just because that's the only way they can get you into the house because your credit score wasn't high enough to get that 30-year fixed rate loan. They had to throw you into this adjustable to get you into the property. And now you're in a world of hurt and you want out and you don't know what to do. Just give the keys back to the bank, go rent for a while. Things will come crashing down, and then you'll be the big winner when you buy in that same subdivision at half off of what they're selling for right now. But this is just my take. But, we got people out there, a couple of people starting to see the light. Travis is one of them. He'll tell you prices are coming down, even though the government went in and wiped out all the statistics. Isn't that classic? Our government wiping out data, wiping out statistics, 2-year-old data. Well, a lot of people know what's going on. A lot of people can see we're starting to get the eyes open. Look, at you want to protect yourself, they're going to continue to lie to you. They're going to tell you inflation is running at 3.4%. They're going to tell you unemployment rate is 3.9%. We know those are much higher numbers. They're going to continue to print money into oblivion. Protect yourself. Gold has been kicking the stock market's butt, going to continue to kick its butt. Gold is where you want to be right now. I'd be worried about that stock market. Yeah, you may get up a little bit more from here. You may get the 40,000 print on the Dow. You may get a 5,500 print on the S&P 500. We'll see how it plays out. But I'd go along with that Warren Buffett guy. He's pretty smart. He's got his money in cash, 150 billion in cash, because he sees the writing on the wall. This market's going to get chopped in half. When it happens, nobody knows for sure. Maybe we go up a little bit higher as long as we're above the 20-day. I wouldn't be shorting the market. We get below the 20-day, I'd take a shot to the downside. This is just my take. I'm Tall Mike. If you like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. But first, punch that subscribe button so I can talk to you some more later in the week. Bye-bye now.